Talk. Talk. Talk to me Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. I'm your host, Madi B, and today I have such a special guest with us, Dr. Lou Ross, one of our chiropractors in the industry.
Thank you. Yes, it's an honor to be here. Actually, I'm pretty excited about it for sure.
Yes, welcome, welcome. So, Dr. Lou Ross, chiropractor from Synergy Spine and Injury. So today we want to open up those lines of communication of any questions that you guys may have for him that may have to pertain to either the spine column or any injury that you're just like, I don't know what this means. He may be able to answer it, or any other questions he may be able to revert and get to you at a later time. But we definitely want to open up those lines of communications for Dr. Lou Ross. So Dr. Lou Ross, tell us a little bit about yourself. These viewers don't know who you are, where you come from, where you're practicing at, all that good stuff.
Well, I grew up in West Texas, El Paso. If you've never been out there, there's not a whole lot, but I hear it's changed. I don't know. I haven't been back there since '96, I think. So,
oh, wow.
But I did grow up there, and I got here in '95, and I went to University of Houston, and that's where I got my undergrad. My undergrad actually was originally, I was a writer, so I was a communications major.
Wow.
Had nothing to do with science, and that was definitely a challenge. I just really liked music and writing, and it was very artistic. If you noticed, I was asked about who inspires me, and I was thinking like, well, I really like Prince. So I put that on today. I love
That's
music.
awesome.
It's a big part of my life. Anyway, I got to U of H, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I was good at writing, so I did that. And then I graduated, got out of school, and decided, what am I going to do? Now I've got this great degree, and wasn't really sure what was out there for me, and I found out that there really wasn't a lot that I could do with what I had learned. Not that it was a bad thing, it was just I don't know what to do. So from there I kind of just started taking upon some sales jobs and just kind of working whatever I could. I became a travel agent, and so from there I started just looking at my avenues, and somehow I ended up doing a marketing gig for a dental company. And I ended up in Pasadena, and the chiropractic school's out there, of course, Texas Chiropractic College.
Right.
And this was 2001. I decided to stop by and check it out. So I walked in. I talked to them about their dental benefits. They talked to me about being a chiropractor. And I said, oh, okay, sign me up. What's it going to take? And then that started, my career in chiropractic, or at least my academic career, which definitely
That's
took a little while to
super
get
cool.
to that. Yeah.
So you just took several leaps of faith. Number one, you were a writer, liked music, but that kind of like fell in your lap. Like you really weren't planning to be a chiropractor, nor did you have it in your mind like, you know what, next 5 years this is what I want to do. It was, you were at the right place at the right time, and it kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah, it really did. It was just one of those things. I mean, I always enjoyed my science classes and things like that, but I was always I knew that the load was going to be something crazy. My family's in dentistry. My sister's a dentist. And so, I knew that any of these, medical style type degrees, whether you're a dentist, a medical doctor, a chiropractor, there's definitely going to be a challenge in there. And I was like, do I really want to go to school for that much longer? Of course I did. I pushed myself through it. And so, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, and, went to school and got out. But the road wasn't quite that easy right after I got out. So
Right.
I definitely kept working.
Well, let's talk about that road afterwards. So did you practice right after you got out of chiropractic school?
No, I didn't. Actually, I got out of school. I was lucky enough that I did get to do an externship through the school that was set up to work for a chiropractic office while I was not licensed. So I was able to work in that office and kind of get myself, get a taste of, what can we do. So while I was working there, I got to meet a lot of great people, and the doctor there did some personal injury, and I think they were still doing workers' comp at the time there. And, and I learned so much. I'm forever in debt to that office for having taught me so many great things. But then I left. I got a job. Somebody asked me, "Hey, you're not licensed. It's going to be a while before you can even work on your own or anything. So, how do you feel about teaching?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do I know about teaching?" I was like, "I've never taught a class."
Here goes
And
another
of course,
opportunity.
me being the guy that I am, they say, do you want to try this? And I'm like, "Well, what's it pay?" And they're, I was like, "Well, I'm not working. May as well. Let's do it." My externship had ended because it was limited. I could only do so much, so I needed a gig, and teaching kind of fell into it. And I said, "So how do I do it?" I show up at this school, and they said, "Well, here's a book." I said, "Well, how do I teach?" They're like, "All right, there's a classroom, and there's your book, and go ahead and start talking to them about everything you know." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Walk in, there's like 60 of you. And some of you are watching this show. We're my former students. Thank you for watching. And, I just kind of ad-libbed it. So those of you that were my students that were, they're kind of maybe remember, there's some of my first students that actually work in some of the clinics now. I've run into some of them at some of the events, and it's pretty cool. You saw me kind of walk in. I had no idea what I was doing. Thank you for laughing at my jokes at the time, by the way. But I really enjoyed it. I did that for 4 years.
Awesome.
Before I was still finishing up my board exams and kind of working through things. And then I got back into working for a chiropractic clinic and again, just marketing, and that's all I could do. I was limited to my abilities. Of course, I had great education, and I knew some stuff, but I was limited to, of course, just marketing and trying to help the doctors sell their practice or whatever I could.
So that's awesome. So you went in and taught a lot. First of all, taught and didn't even know, okay, where do I start? So I kind of feel like this show will be also very educational, coming from your background and as well as your experience that you have underneath your belt. So how many years experience do you have now as a chiropractor? Your eyes got really big. That means he's counting.
Well, as a chiropractor, I just started practicing in January. I got fully licensed in December.
Got it. Okay.
So just recently. Prior to that, I graduated in 2007. So I've been working, alongside with people in the industry. I've been building a network for 11 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's never too late to start your dreams and get the ball rolling. So as far as your facility, what type of treatments do you offer at your facility?
So my office is designed to treat post-trauma patients, people that have been injured particularly. We see, of course, a lot of auto collisions and, sometimes some slip and falls or something like that. So all our patients are what falls under, personal injury care.
Okay.
And that, that's where I was taught by a lot of great mentors out there, a lot of doctors that have been doing this for a long time out there that are probably watching this. Thank you very much. And that's how I focus my practice. And so as far as the types of care that we do, I try to focus on those things that, of course, are going to be most beneficial to the patient that have some substance to them, and we know is going to be helpful. So do some passive care, some active care, because that's a must. And I keep it to that. I just basically like to increase it as the patient if they're progressing, and just everybody's kind of moving at their own pace.
So you just mentioned passive and active, and for those viewers that have no idea, probably never visited a chiropractor, can you explain a little bit more in detail what exactly passive means and what exactly active means?
Sure. So passive care is when the patient is basically not doing anything themselves. They're not taking any action, as I like to tell them. So the patient is receiving passive care, and that usually is going to be the most standard stuff. What I like to use is electric muscle stimulation, which helps to keep the muscle integrity and size, also relieves some spasms. Also like to use some heat if it's been past 72 hours, past the inflammatory stage. Otherwise, maybe some ice. And a little bit of massage is incorporated into that, and some active care as well. So that's the active care. We started out with a little bit of basic range of motion stuff, and then increase it gradually as the patient's progressing. As we need them to keep moving, because the old saying is, if you don't move it, you lose it. Exactly. So you got to keep it moving, and so we were very adamant about making sure the patients.
And this
keep
is
moving.
focusing on the muscle. Like I know I mean, if any of you guys been to the gym and wake up the next morning and you're like stiff,
Sure.
or you're sore, or if you've ever done some really heavy lifting or something and the next day you feel like you just got hit by a ton of bricks, this is what we're talking about. It's
Sure.
the muscle is either like really tense or can't really, it's stiff.
Yeah.
So that's where these range of motions come in, the passive and the active.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing about it, the tricky part about it is that, the more, our first inclination when we get hurt is I don't want to move it, ouch, ouch, ouch. And the more stiff it becomes, the more you don't use it, the more that instability, is created, and the more that the problem and the pain will continue until we actually get in and start moving it around a little bit. So, and that's the tricky part with the soft tissue injuries, is that it's not like bone where you can just immobilize it and let it sit and do its thing, and 6 weeks pass or so, and things have healed, hopefully. With soft tissue, you got to keep moving. You got to use the ligaments and tendons and the muscles, and you're going to be out there, and you still have to take care of your children and pick up, things
Day to
and
day.
clean and do what you need to do. And so as it's healing, you're trying to do some of these day-to-day activities, and that's where we come in, is trying to strengthen those core muscles so that the patient can at least stay functional and kind of work through their days as best as possible.
Now, something part of what you do as well, so once the muscle heals and it gets back to its normal state and the person still has pain, could it be deeper than that? Could it be bone, nerve, ligaments? I mean, there's so much that goes on with our body. The muscle's kind of like the over part. Is that correct?
Right. So, that's where having a good examination, having the full-on, patients need to have that good orthopedic exam, neurological, motor, sensory, all of those things combined, and of course diagnostic testing to make sure that we know exactly what is the origin here. Just because Johnny says it hurts here doesn't mean the problem is here. So having that good exam and saying, okay, well, wait a minute, that's where it hurts, but is that where it's coming from? And so, of course, there's neurological, radiating pain, things like that. And if you don't know exactly where it's coming from, you could be treating it incorrectly forever and, not getting the results that are needed, or sending it to the correct practitioner that needs to be involved.
Every situation, every patient is different. So it's very important for whenever you guys go to a doctor or even a chiropractor, letting them know the exact detail. It's so important for you guys so that you
Every
can
detail counts.
pinpoint to what the real problem is. We do have a live question from Rebecca. So, hey, Rebecca. She's saying, I've always been scared to get my neck adjusted. Is there an alternative?
Yes. So, what's called spinal manipulation, and in this case in particular, cervical spinal manipulation, cervical meaning the neck. A lot of patients are afraid. It's not normal to just have someone grab you by the head and start moving you around. It's just freaky. This is my entire life right here, and my brain and everything. So, when you start working on a patient like that, everybody's inclination is going to be to stiffen up a little bit. And, in our case with these post-traumatic stress, person has been in a wreck or something, or even Rebecca, maybe she's just wellness, she hasn't had an injury, it's still strange. So what we do is we have there's different ways to adjust the neck. Of course, the more traditional, diversified, as I studied in chiropractic, is of course use of hand. And some moves are going to use more rotation than others. So of course, avoiding rotary type style manipulation in patients that are definitely scared is a great idea. And in any patients that may have any contraindications where you may not want to do that kind of move. I personally don't do a whole lot of these rotary movements myself. And so a lot of practitioners are now using something as this, which is mechanically assisted chiropractic care. This is very simple. Star Wars. So this little guy here is basically what is related to the family of activator tools, which is mechanically assisted spinal manipulation, and it's a very different in the way that it works. If this was plugged in, which it's not. Basically, all it does is there's a protocol to it, and so the practitioner will basically start with some leg length movements and kind of check the what's going on, and work their way up to the pelvis and finally up to the cervical spine as well. And so this little guy is going to be able to very gently put just enough pressure through the muscle before the patient can even guard, which will happen when you're trying to do with a manual manipulation, and just put just enough pressure in there into the joint to relax the muscle and achieve a very positive result. And fans of the activator spinal manipulation type tool are very happy with it. Some people, of course, they just traditionally say, nah, I need you to crack my neck, doc, and they want, that traditional. So sometimes it's just a matter of time and getting comfortable with the practitioner too. So while Rebecca may say, I'm kind of scared, we've been doing activator. One day she's like, you know what, that looks like it might be okay. Let's try it out. And so
does that take longer than the actual hands-on?
To do it on a patient?
Yeah.
Well, the protocol in itself may take a little bit longer because it takes a minute to assess fully the patient from top to bottom. But no, I mean, this is this mechanism. As soon as you pull the trigger, it will deliver that tiny bit of impact that's needed just to move the joint. And there is some adjustments to it. There's the level at which it'll deliver that. There's some different heads that are also available, so you can use depending on where you're working on. As you can see, that one more so for the regular spine.
That's a nifty little tool.
For the hands or certain joints, even sinus. My sister was a big fan of that. You love that. She's watching. She would always come in and be like, "Can you activate my sinuses to kind of help to put a little impact in there and kind of help to drain some of the mucus that's building up." And it's that gentle. It's not going to be like, "Oh my God, what you just do?" It's going to be very, very gentle, but effective.
Okay, so you spoke about a little bit earlier if someone wants to come in for wellness. I know we're going to put your contact information here on the screen so that people can get your phone number and as well address. But if someone wants to come in that doesn't have a car accident, for instance, could they still come see you?
Right now, I'm not set up for that, but we're working on that, on doing a little bit more wellness. Because people that have known me for years are like, "Hey, Dr. Oz, can I come in?" And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, got this set up a certain way." So I'm not saying no. It's just right now we're not set up for that.
Okay.
But I, definitely that doesn't mean don't hit me up. It's something that I definitely am interested in working out a little bit more towards wellness as well.
Yeah. So definitely calling that number on screen if you guys are someone that needs some type of treatment on the back or stiffness or anything like that, definitely reach out to Dr. Lou Ross and he can advise you on what the best protocol is for treating such things. So we do have another live question. This one's from Anna. Anna's saying, "I constantly get neck pain while I'm at my desk at work." Girlfriend, me too. And she's saying, "Is there something I could do to prevent that?" Great question, because I want to know this.
Quit
answer.
your job. No, I'm kidding.
Whoa!
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. We all need to get paid. Don't do that.
Yes, do not do that.
No. So what we actually would do, the answer to that, there's some stretches that you want to do, and it's a very common problem. We are in a computer setting. Everybody's using a computer now. So if you're sitting at a desk, first things first is ergonomics. You want to sit as well as you can in your chair. Don't sit like I am right now. But when you're sitting there for yeah, exactly. Sit in a chair in a comfortable position, hopefully with some kind of lumbar support. But her question was more about neck stretches. So let's get straight down to what she's asking. If that neck is hurting, if she's been sitting there, no matter what, you're sitting there typing, it's going to start to hurt. Right, so some of the things that we can do are some basic range of motion, so you don't look strange in your office. It's like, what the hell are they doing? Something real basic. We can just basically turn the head to the right and just kind of hold it there for 4 or 5 seconds, and then stop. We can move to the left gently, hold it there 4 or 5 seconds, and relax. And you can also do some lateral flexion. Just kind of hold it there. Done a little bit more lateral flexion. Now, one thing you can do to add a little extra oomph to it is you can reach over behind, just right behind the ear here, if you want to, and just kind of pull down gently just a little bit. And you'll feel that upper trap, maybe a little bit of this SCM muscle kind of pull down. You just don't want to get too crazy with it, but just a little bit, just to get that stretch, really does wonders. The other one is really good. Just put your hands right underneath the occiput, just right by the neck and back of the head there. Pinch your shoulder blades, and then push back like you're pushing your back of your head into your hands. And you'll really feel that as you're pinching your shoulder blades and pushing that occiput, the back of your head into your hands. Feels really good as well.
Yeah, it does. I hope you guys did it on live right now with us. If not, that's something that they could do while at work, maybe a quick 10 or less minute break, and holding it for 15 seconds each exercise. And let's talk a little bit about that posture. So a lot of us work on computers. A lot of our computers are probably not at eye level, which makes our neck go to its natural state. It's more down. So we have this down motion, which creates a flat. I don't know if that's natural. And then we naturally slump. So this is comfortable for everybody. But is this the best posture?
No, definitely not. And that is an issue. So there's something called tech neck. I don't know if you've heard of this or not before, but it's becoming more of something that we're talking about in the industry. And of course, having that head falling forward all the time, the more for every inch degree that you're falling down, you're putting another 10 pounds of pressure. You can end up putting like 60 pounds by the time you're basically falling all the way down to here, depending on how much you're looking down. And we spend our life in our phones, and like you said, looking down, sitting at the desk. If your computer's not at eye level, like you said, so you're kind of like this. It's definitely something that people do need to be aware of. And again, doing some of these neck stretches that we talked about is useful. Actually, there's some other stretches that I'd like to show you in just a little while. If you're okay with that, we can show the audience maybe using a towel or something like that.
Yeah, let's show them second half of the show. If you guys have to stay and tune in, because these may help you guys on the posture of day to day.
Of course.
Or even if they're experiencing some type of pain. Right?
Of course.
Perfect. So yeah, we'll do that a little later. Thank goodness I wore my good slacks today and not my dress or skirt. That wouldn't have been fun, huh?
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing back to that. Make sure that your chair has a good lumbar support. A lot of people don't have that. This is probably not be the best one for working at a desk for too long, but they're great here.
Yeah.
So have that lumbar support and make sure your legs are getting some good circulation and you're able to stretch out. And that hopefully, you're not seated. Some people say a full perfect 90 degrees, but it's really about just kind of leaning back into it a little bit and bring everything down and closer to you. Don't be doing this all day long, because that's where you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Okay. What about, now I'm adding 2 more questions to it. What about for the ladies that cross their legs? Is that hurt their posture?
So we see that a lot. Ladies do that a lot. So you're sitting there, so you're constantly putting that tension into the tensor fascia, the TFL. Let's just call it for short because there's too many fancy jargon there. But the point is, you're pulling that glute and you're pulling that IT band all the way into here. So you are going to start experiencing some pain. A lot of times they say, I don't know what's going on. Why is it hurt? They start to develop uneven leg length, instability. So you check their pelvis, and so of course they come see the chiropractor, and we'll stretch that out, readjust their pelvic bone, and kind of help them out that way. But yeah, it is something we're used to doing. I see guys and girls doing it too.
Yeah.
So.
What about the ladies that wear heels all the time?
Heels. So heels are something that, of course, women love to wear their heels. So we're not going to say you can't wear your heels. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Let's be realistic here. One of the things that we tell patients that love to wear their heels is at the end of the day is to stretch out that calf muscle. So find something like maybe a little bit of maybe 3 or 4 inches, some kind of maybe a curb or something near the house, or a step or something where they can stretch out that calf at the end of the night, because they've been up like this all day, shortening that gastroc, that calf muscle, and causing more issues over time. So if they at least get home and stretch it out, hold it for that 15, 20 seconds on each one, maybe 3 or 4 times each leg, that's at least starting in the right place.
Wow, that's great advice. I'm definitely going to take that once I get home, even probably on the second half of the show. So one question I did want to ask, do you also work with children and or those women that are expecting?
Yeah, so with kids, we do see kids, and I personally have seen some children as young as 6 years old so far. So the children, when I see it, again, I deal with personal injury patients that have been in a post-traumatic type deal, right? They were a vehicular collision or something like that. So the kids are traveling with their parents, they get hit. And of course, they may get some of the sprain strain injuries, even though little kids typically don't have this. They don't respond the same way to injuries like we do. They're very cartilaginous, which is a good thing, because if you've ever had a baby, those of you moms out there, they roll off the bed and mom is, like freaking out, and usually babies, okay, they're just scared, right?
Yeah.
So little kids tend to bounce better than adults. Of course, you did that. If I fall out of bed, I'm probably not going to get up for 20 minutes.
Stiff muscle, the whole nine.
But at the same time, when they do get injured and if they do come to me, my first things first is, of course, I talk to mom and I say, let's get them to see their pediatrician first. And once the pediatrician has cleared it and seen them, then I'm okay with going ahead and just doing a little mini exam. And there's a little bit of passive care that we can do for them just to alleviate any muscles that may have gotten tight or tender, during the accident, then we can do something about that.
That's awesome. So you do have a protocol. You do work with children, but there is a protocol that you do meet with the parents and make sure everything's in line.
Of course.
Awesome. So we do have a comment here from Gloria. Gloria says, "Heart this show." Aw, thank you, Gloria. That means she loves the show. So hope you're getting a lot of great insight from it, and I hope you're going to learn some things to do on daily exercises as well. So before we move on to the next little bit, tell us a little bit about your technique that you like to use.
Okay, yeah, so my patients usually come in, they've had some kind of recent trauma, and usually within maybe a couple of weeks. Sometimes they walk in, they just left the hospital. So they got into some kind of collision, some kind of injury. So my first thing is how am I going to manage and help them with their immediate pain? So that's what I call like a phase 1 stage, where I was like, okay, my main concern is going to be to make sure that the patient is getting some care, and we're going to just worry about right now just making them feel good. If they can at least feel and get some rest every night that they come to therapy, I'm in the winning side of it. So we'll focus more on some passive care at the beginning there, EMS, heat, massage, and we will start it with a little bit of basic range of motion, but we're very careful of letting the patient know, don't go to a point that it hurts at this point. Just keep it moving. If that's all you can do, that's great. If this is all you can do, okay, that's great. So we got the range of motion just to keep it there, but we're not going to get very aggressive with it just yet. Mostly passive care. Hot packs if it's been past 72 hours, like I said. EMS for those the muscle integrity. A little bit of massage. I know some of the question out there is, are you going to adjust this patient? Personally speaking, I will wait on adjustments until later on down the line if I feel that they're going to be beneficial to the treatment of that particular patient, but I like to see some more stuff before we just start racking and cracking on people. As they start to get a little bit better after a week or two, depending on their progression, I like to re-examine my patient, and then if they're progressing as it seems, even though they may have some increased pain, that doesn't mean we may not increase the therapy. So if they can handle it, even though, because what's happening as it's healing, everybody knows that scar tissue is a real thing. If you ever cut yourself, then that there's something happening. The body is trying to overlay and try to fix things. The same thing happens inside our body. So with those little tiny micro tears into the tendons and then the muscles, starts to lay down a little bit more than there should be, and so getting those adhesions, and so that collagen is laying down. And now we really need to be worried about that, because they're going, it really hurts now. It's already been 2 weeks. In fact, I don't even know why my low back is hurting now more. And as it's healing, the scalp starts to itch, right? It starts to heal. Well, inside we start to heal as well. And so, it's like, okay, Johnny, we got to stretch you out. So let's increase the stretching now. I know it hurts, but we're going to do this carefully. And so I introduce some more stretches. And again, get some core movements. We like to stretch out, the entire spine if possible, and we have a protocol for that. And as they're feeling better with it, you start to see that they're doing more of their stretches. They're kind of getting through them a little quicker. They're enjoying them, and you can kind of tell. So, and then it's time to do another exam. And we're still doing some passive care, by the way, because there's obviously still pain. So we're still going to work with that a little bit. And as they're getting better, every reassessment, which I like to do, every 2 weeks or so, I'll check them out and then say, okay, let's go ahead, let's turn up the heat a little bit, right? So we finally get to some more aggressive stretching, and that's what I like to call. I say, well, this is where we're at the point now where we think that the patient has really gotten to a level to where we can test things out, and I call this the part where you've already worked on the car. Let's run it down the road and see that everything is where it should be. So we get a little more aggressive with it and do some stretches, and that's more of a thing to find out, okay, if it's gonna break down. We need to know now, or we can get ready to, you know, increase the heat, and it's time for this patient to kind of, you know, move along, and we've pretty much done our job. We're hoping that that range of motion has increased really well. We're hoping that they have a lot more stability, and their functional ability at home has greatly improved as well.
Wow, that's awesome. So that's a really awesome technique. I know every case is different, every patient is different. So it really just depends on your style or your technique or your case on top of that. So we're going to move along right now to what we do every month. And then we're going to move into the exercises, okay? So we're going to switch it up so we can get to the other side and show on me the technique and the exercises. But heroic behavior, we do every month. It's something that we give for a month. We put out this picture and we give out a gift for those that are basically watching the show. So this month's heroic behavior is a Specs gift card in honor of Father's Day. So all those fathers out there, please make sure you go look at this picture, like the picture, like our Facebook page, comment on it, and also tag another father that you may know out there, which could be your own or it could be a son. You never know that now is a father. The gift card is $75 for Specs. You could do a whole lot of damage with that. Buy a lot of beer, wine, liquor.
They got cheeses and they got some food stuff. Even if you don't drink, they got like stuff, right?
They have stuff there. Yeah, you're totally right. So make sure that you guys look out for this picture. It will also be on our page. That way you guys can share it. So in order to qualify to win, you guys have to like our page, like the picture, and make sure you share it as well on your Facebook page. So speaking of this month, we also had last month's winner. That one was in honor of Mother's Day. We gave out a spa package for last month's winner who actually came to claim her prize. So let's take a look at last month's winner.
Hey there, here we are with our heroic behavior winner for the month of May. Remember guys, we gave out a spa package. We're here with Shannon. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, how does it feel to be the winner?
I'm super excited.
Yeah, do you win stuff normally or is this your first one that you win?
I don't normally win things, but I mean, it's not my first time, but I usually don't enter contests or anything like that, but I wanted to treat myself and I won.
There you go. So thank goodness that you did it. So now this is a spa package, okay? We're giving you $75. Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, wow is right. So what are you planning on doing? Get mani-pedi? You can even do your eyebrows. Like, what is your plan? What do you want to do?
I need a manicure and a pedicure.
Bam. And you guess what? You have time and enough to do both and probably even more. Right. Are you going to be taking someone with you or are you going to go by yourself?
I may take my mom, if she's available. We'll go together.
There you go. Well, it's going to be for Mother's Day this weekend. So happy pre-Mother's Day.
Thank you.
How did you hear about this? So you could tell everybody that's watching right now how you entered.
Okay. Well, I watched Talk to Me Tuesday on Facebook, and that's how I entered.
Wow, super easy. So all you guys got to do is go to our Facebook page, watch Talk to Me Tuesday on a Tuesday, or you can look at the heroic behavior. So here I have the magic card here. I'm going to give it to you and give you a big hug.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations. So you too can win heroic behavior. Until next time.
All right, so here we are. We are back. As you can see, I don't have my shoes on because I'm ready for these exercises that we're about to do. Before we get into these exercises, I do have a couple of comments. So I have one from Chriselle saying, hello, Madi and Dr. Roz. I have herniated L4 and L5 with a pinched sciatic nerve. It's like, it likes to act up a lot. Any recommended stretches?
Right. So very common problem, also known as sciatica. So that bundle of nerves that tends to run out, usually from that low back, that like you said, L4, L5, S1. And so if it's pressing from that disc, then they're going to start to feel, and it can be very irritating right there into that glute, run down the back of the leg, maybe even further down, depending on how that disc is moved. So quick stretch on that. Let's go ahead and get you to lay down on your back.
Lay on my back. Hopefully you guys can see me.
Okay. And so let's say that it was this particular leg that she's complaining of. So one of the first things I would do if I was going to help her is I would bring it right over here. Okay, just go ahead and clamp it down. Now, this is if you have somebody else helping you, but you can try it on your own. You can kind of grab that over here, okay, and we can try to push it down this way just a little bit, okay? Now, that's just one thing that we can kind of mess around with. It's always easier if somebody else is helping you when trying to open this up. But the other thing you can do is bring it up this way, and let's bring up this way, and go ahead and go right through here for me. So bring that arm, bring it right in here,
Oh,
and then just get that stretch right in there.
Oh yeah, this is
Better?
a better
It's
one.
good?
This one's better than the first one.
Yeah, and this is something, of course, she can do on her own, and that really helps a little bit with opening up some of that. And of course, there's several other stretches, but that's an easy one that seems to be helpful to some patients.
So
I've
that
seen.
stretch seems like it works. I actually felt that, but if the pain level is super high,
Of course.
is that something that they should get, like maybe a towel to pull because they may not be able to reach their
Yeah.
leg?
You can use a towel. You can use it in the office. I use jump ropes that I've cut short. So yeah, you can use some tools like that. That would definitely help.
Awesome. So that is one of the stretches for the pinched sciatic nerve. So another one of the comments that we do have, so pain that shoots down one's leg, an exercise that could help, that could be one of the pain shooting down. Could that be a result of others?
Yes. Pain shooting down are called radiating pain, neurological. So anytime that pressure is on that disc, on that nerve root, you have that potential of feeling either heat, burning, numbness, tingling, all associated to some of that sciatica.
Okay.
Of course, having that that imaging study is very important because you want to know exactly what disc is involved. You want to know how badly it's damaged and see, because sometimes in some cases, if it's bad enough, no matter how much you do some of these stretches, it may be somebody who needs something beyond, of course, what I'm going to do, and it goes, to that medical doctor who needs to do an orthopedic consult, and maybe there's something else that needs to be done. But having that MRI done and all that stuff is what's going to really help us to be able to help the patient as much as
That's
possible.
awesome. So let us know if you did get that MRI. I have Chriselle also commenting. She's saying, also, I do heating patches and ice. Do you have a recommendation on that?
Yeah, so with hot packs and ice, the main thing is, my say on this one is ice at the end if you're not going to do very much at the end of the day. So once you're ready to relax, then ice is a good one because ice will tell the nerve signal, hey, just be quiet. We're ready to chill out, literally. Heat is also very good, though. Heat is definitely very therapeutic, and some people just like heat better. So there's really no right or wrong to this. It's just what you respond to better. At least that's my opinion. But at the end of the day, I would tell a patient, if you're not going to do anything, you're done for the end of the day, then maybe that ice pack is probably a good idea. 15, 20 minutes, maybe per hour, something like that.
So I know what they like to say is heat kind of reduces inflammation, as ice is kind of at the end of the day, the chill out, not the other way around.
Well, heat actually increases blood flow to areas.
Ooh,
So that's why we have that 72-hour rule with inflammatory stage, where we don't use a hot pack on somebody who just was, in post-trauma, because you put the heat on there and it's going to just swell up some more, and then that'll actually cause it to hurt a little bit more. But now, if it's past that, it's been a few days or whatnot, then yeah, definitely that heat is a good thing. It should bring blood flow to the area and help to increase some of that healing. And the name of the game is blood flow, to get those cells of repair and everybody in there to kind of do their job.
That is awesome. So a couple more exercises that we want to go over. So some exercises to help with neck and lower back problems.
Okay.
We did talk about neck on the other side, but now that we're visually here, if there's any other neck exercises, we can go over that, as well as back problems.
Yeah, so let's start with some neck stuff. I'm going to grab a couple of these
Towels?
towels.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have one and you grab the other.
Okay, I'll take the other one.
Okay.
Good
And
size
so,
towel.
a couple things that we can do. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is just kind of keep it just like that. And we're going to bring it up and just kind of hold the ends of it, just like that. And then just kind of stretch up and just hold it there. Okay? And it's not a big move, it's just very subtle.
Mm-hmm. Nothing
And just
painful.
Kind of nothing painful. You can bring it up a little bit more into the occiput. And basically, you're kind of doing a traction on yourself. You're increasing that space and just kind of letting those joints that may be a little bit stiffer kind of release some of that pressure along the facets and into the discs and whatnot. Now another favorite is actually, this one's a little bit more, if you've ever had that experience where you wake up with that crick in the neck and you know, you're just like,
Yes.
oh God, I can't move it, what am I gonna do? So on that one, you basically, you can, you take, so let's say that it hurts over here, okay? So I'm gonna take this one over here, top, and this one I'm gonna pull down. This one, I'm gonna bring it just along the side of the jaw here, and I'm gonna bring myself just like that.
Oh, I feel that.
You feel that?
But I wonder how painful this will be
So
when
you
have
don't
a
want to
crick.
do it to a painful stage. And also be mindful, if you feel dizzy or something strange like that, you're probably going too far. This is not something that you need to get aggressive with. It's just a tiny little tug, just kind of coming up, and then you can switch them and kind of come up this way along the angle of the jaw, bring one down and bring this one up to the side, and just kind of let it come up just like that.
So softly. I know I'm doing it on the
Gently.
screen
Gently.
a little
Yeah,
aggressive.
yeah. And it's because we probably don't have too much pain right now, but if
Yeah.
you did, you would not probably go that far, okay? But those are some good towel techniques that you can use something simple.
Okay, so that's a good one for the neck. I know I have, before we move on to the back, I have a live comment from Michael saying, I have fused disc between L4, L5, and S1 with herniated disc at C3 and C4 as well as the mid-thoracic area. Right now I want you to kind of explain what this means because those people that are watching have no idea what that means. You can explain the L's and the C's. I want to desperately work out on my legs, thighs, and calves, even on my lower back. Can I use the Smith machine? Can I do assisted squats or am I out of luck? It's a loaded question.
Okay, it is a loaded question, but loaded questions are the best kinds of questions. So, all right, so let's start with letting the audience know a little bit of what we have here. We have a fused discs at L4, L5, and S1. So just a little anatomy lesson here. The neck in itself has 7 bones, the mid back has 12, and then the low back has 5. So when he's denoting that L4, L5, he's saying that those discs between the 4th low back and 5th low back.
So here, right?
Correct. So right on here, and that S1, which is the sacrum bone, that's where this gentleman has herniated disc, and he has, is what he's saying, and some L4, he has some fusion. So that means that, and he's probably talking about a surgical fusion, where they have fused, and so that means that there was probably a disc issue there, and they basically locked them together. They're no longer mobile as they should be. Okay, and then he has herniated discs at C3, C4. So we go back to the neck where there is 7 bones here. So he's probably somewhere around here. Okay, and right there we have, and he says some in the mid-thoracic, which is somewhere probably around here. Okay, so that is where he has. So he wants to know if he can still work out doing the Smith machine, legs and calves and thighs. The Smith machine, for people who are not aware of that, that's that back squat machine where instead of just basically going with a free bar and doing, you know, weighted squats, that one is actually on 2 bars on the sides, so it's basically on a roller, and so you can safely, you know, it's not like just free. It's not
It's
going
like a
back and forth.
glider.
Yeah, it's on a glide machine.
Yeah.
So basically, he's talking about being able to go in and go and do his squats, you know, in that machine. So the question becomes, we'll get back to that. Thank you, you're welcome. You know, you have to listen to your body when you're going to do anything like this. Some patients that have had fusions do very well with some of this stuff. The bigger question is how much weight are you going to put on there? I would not put a lot of heavy weight because you've already got some trauma there. You have that potential to increase herniations, which is one of the problems with fusions is sometimes, yeah, those are okay now, but now what's going on above or below that. Now with the L, nothing below because that's at the end there, but things could move their way up and cause other issues. So I probably would say let's try not to go with very heavy weight at least. And I would periodically get a checkup and see if there's any more degeneration going on with those discs that are still around it before I would throw any heavy weights on it.
So starting low weight, yes, you probably can with the Smith machine, but not going too much because you can cause more damage, like more
Yeah.
herniations, etc.
Yeah.
So please, Michael, be very careful with this, and definitely follow up to see if that made any
Right.
type of hurt or tension on
Now there's
the back.
other stuff that he can do in there that's not the Smith machine, where he can sit in certain machines and he can actually use some of those, not the free weight machine, but the ones that allow you to actually adjust. They're on pulley levers and stuff like that. That would be my way of more safely working on some of those thighs and calves and legs instead of just kind of putting some weight on my back and hoping for the best.
Is there anything that Michael could do with weight on the front? I know some of the barbells you can do on the front and still maybe do squats. Is that going to help, or might that put some tension
As
frontal?
long as his posture is in the center and he's not loading up with too much weight and falling forward, then that shouldn't be an issue. But, you know, it's one of those, again, listen to your body, and, you know, more importantly, it's important to be healthy, not just super fit, and you know, not that fitness is not a good important part of it, but you want to be, you want to have a function, you want to have strength, you know, and so, you know, when you've had these injuries, it's more important that you have that longevity of regular use of your body. So try not to focus so much, and I'm not accusing Michael of trying to do this. I'm not saying you're trying to be a bodybuilder and overdoing it, but you know, I know with my athletes, you know, it is hard, especially if they've had an injury, and they really want to go at it, and you know,
They want to get back to normal.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
yeah.
this is what I used to
Yeah.
do. I need to get there again. I completely understand. I
Yeah.
know you
But
understand
it's
as
baby
well.
steps,
Baby
baby
steps.
steps,
Yeah.
definitely.
And Michael also said that neck towel stretch method you just did there looks super.
I'm glad it was.
Definitely try it. It
Yeah.
feels really, really
Yeah.
good. I'm sure whenever you have a crick on your neck or just wake up, even with some stress, because I know some people carry it on their neck, that can
Absolutely.
also relieve a little bit more tension.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the exercise. You did mention a neck exercise for the neck. Now, how about if anyone's having any type of back problems? Any
Yeah,
exercises?
so we're going to go over some McKinsey style stretches. So all my chiro buddies out there and ortho and everybody else going, oh yeah, McKinsey. The rest of the audience is like, who's McKinsey? All right, so let's do this. So first of all, let's go ahead and get you to lay down face down.
Oh, face down. Okay.
Okay. And so what we're going to start off with is just basically just get your hands palm up to the sides.
Oh, like this?
Just
Okay.
like that. And go ahead and put them face down like that.
Okay.
There we go. And go ahead and face the camera. That's okay.
Okay.
All right, it doesn't matter whatever you're comfortable. I'm just going to lay there, okay? And this is just a laying down, flat positioning, and just kind of opening up all of the muscles of the erector spinae, and just kind of laying there for about maybe 2-3 minutes, okay? This is just laying face down position. Nothing strenuous yet. We're just going to kind of chill. We're going to work our way up to it. The next exercise now is she's going to come up and bring her elbows. So you're going to now come on up. So go ahead and extend. And let's bring your arms up this way. And put your elbows flat. Okay? And I want you to lift yourself up like a lizard on your elbows.
Oh,
and
okay.
bring yourself up this way. And I want you to end up so where your elbows and your shoulders meet up. Right? That's just like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now what we're doing here is we've increased a little bit of that lordotic curve, which is a fancy word for that curve in the neck and in the low back. It basically kind of goes like this. Okay, so she's holding it there. Now for some people, depending on the degree of injury, they may need a little bit more help. So if you scoot your elbow just a little bit forward, just a little bit more, she still gets a stretch, but she doesn't put as much stress here on this low back.
I
for that
definitely
lordotic
feel a difference.
stretch. So just depending, you're going to have to, again, listen to your body and see what you can handle. Okay, now to really add some aggression to it, so now she's going to come back up, but this time you're going to be on the palms of your hands and lift yourself up. Okay, and the more straight you get, the more aggressive this gets. So you could essentially, I don't know how you feel, listen to your body. We don't want to cause any new injuries here.
No.
All right, good. So she's really good at this, okay? So she's really got a lot of stress there and really increasing that lordotic curve. And so this is a very common style of McKinsey exercise for those low back injuries. It seems to really help. What we're going to do now is stand up.
Okay.
This one that I'm going to show you is especially good if you're sitting at your desk, and people should stand up, in my opinion, at least once an hour and kind of stretch a little bit, okay? So go ahead and put your hands just behind your back, just like that. And I want you to just kind of push back and keep your feet about shoulder width apart. You're sitting good, okay? There we go. And you'll start feeling it again, increasing that lordosis and kind of stretching out that low back. Tends to feel really good, and it's very, very healthy. So, you know, for most of those low back injuries. All right. So that's the fourth in the series, I think. All right. So let's get you flat on your back.
Flat on my back. Okay.
So now
Here
we're
we
going
go,
to
guys.
continue with bringing up your knees to your chest, and then just kind of bring up your arms, and just kind of bring your knees and just pull them towards you.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Okay. People enjoy this one quite a bit. It's pretty relaxing. So again, another one in the series.
You
Okay,
can
so-
do this just watching
Yeah, and
TV too.
you can do this. You know, you can basically hold it for maybe 10 seconds or so. It's my opinion. Some people say a little bit less, and then just go ahead and relax. and bring it down. And then you can, again, do some reps on that as you feel comfortable with that.
How
Okay,
many
so
reps would you recommend?
I would recommend somebody do at least, maybe 10 or so, and just hold them there again for maybe 10, 15 seconds, depending.
Okay.
All right, and then the next one, we don't really have a way of showing it here, but basically you would stand up.
Okay.
And the other one, we would have a chair, although we don't have a chair, we'll pretend. I'll hold this for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and sit on it.
Sit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's not an exercise ball, okay?
Okay.
And so open the legs out just a little bit.
Okay.
And now go ahead and reach down forward. And now we're gonna, this is a little bit more aggressive and coming on down, okay? So this is gonna be useful. And again, we probably should have done this sideways, but that's okay.
We could do it sideways
Yeah,
if you want to.
show them.
Okay. Is this a lower back, mid
Yeah,
back?
so this is all, again, still helps with that low back pain and problems. So it's a combination of some of the McKinsey stretches.
definitely
Helps.
feel
So
it.
we're gonna go in, down that way, okay?
Is my neck supposed
Okay.
to be like?
And just kind of, I'd probably keep it about there. Now you can
Okay.
let it hang a little bit, but just don't let it strain. So that's a good posture there.
Okay.
And then come on up. And then it gets finally a little bit more. So the more she starts to sink in, the more aggressive this is getting. So we started out with her just laying down and getting some flexion. Now she's sitting into the flexion. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and just stand up. And lastly, we're going to go ahead and just basically, again, stand up with your feet about shoulder width apart.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more aggressive, trying to just flex forward, keep the knees straight, and bend forward, and just kind of try to touch
Oh,
the
same
floor.
thing. Okay.
Just like that. So now this stretch is a lot more aggressive. She's obviously good at this, so no issues with that. But some patients, this is going to take a little bit longer.
Some may stop here, right?
Yeah, it may stop there and stop there if you can't go any further. One thing to remind you is there's something in the muscle called the, go ahead, come on, the Golgi tendon organ, and so its job is to resist when it feels the muscle under tension. The interesting thing is that's why in our clinics we like to tell patients to hold them for about 20 seconds. The literature shows that after about 20 or 30 seconds, it'll relax a little bit, and then you can kind of stretch a little bit more forward. So just a little something to note there when you're doing these things when it comes to time. Holding it for that time does actually seem to help make that stretch a little bit better. So don't rush it, and don't go to a point where it's like, oh, it hurts, but the doc said that was a good idea. No, if it hurts, listen to your body. Again, I always tell patients, make sure that you're
So word of advice on that one is go as far as you can, come back up after 20 seconds, try it again. You may go a little bit further,
Sure.
but the more that they practice this exercise, the more they're able to become more
It
flexible.
should get more, more flexibility.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. And we already went over some exercises for stiff neck. Did you have any others besides the towel exercise that you recommend?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So for more, if somebody's, if somebody just has chronic pain, it's been a while. I think it was a come and go kind of pain. So it's not like severe, but every now and then, 80% of American adults will typically get some low back pain. And so that doesn't mean everybody's running around with disc herniations, but it does mean that for whatever reason, there may be some instability and some poor posture stuff going on. So unstable muscles, core muscles in particular, are going to be an issue. So some of the stretches that we like to use are squats, Supermans, and sit-ups, and that's what we're going to use lastly in this ball. So we're going to show you a little bit about that.
And where
So
did
that-
they get this type of ball?
These things are easy to find. You can find them as, I can mention a store, is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walmart.
Walmart.
I think they're like $8-9. And I know I used to just buy them like at Marshalls or TJ Maxx or whatever.
They have them everywhere.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to find. Just make
Perfect.
sure you read on the box at the back, and make sure you buy one that's for your height, because they do make them in different sizes.
Okay.
So that's the only thing to know. Some people buy the wrong size ball and then they can't do the exercise correctly. So that's why we keep different sizes in the clinics, because patients may need a different one. Wasn't sure your height today, so I may have to do these depending on myself. But I think we
5'2".
can do some of them. So what we'll start with is showing patients how to do Supermans, because I think we can do that. So I'm going to hold it. What I want you to do is first get on your knees on the floor.
Okay. We need a taller person. We have a taller person in the room.
That'll be me. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll forward
Uh-oh.
on top of it with your belly.
Oh, okay. It's not that bad.
There you go.
Okay,
All right, now
yeah.
stay right there. Now what we're going to do is going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. I'm just going to tap on the sides where I want you to come up.
Okay.
And let's make sure that we have balance. We position. There we go.
Okay.
Open those out just a little bit so you're not, if they're too close together, you're going to be
Probably.
teeter-tottering.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to lift up this one and this one. There we go. And that, again, strength into that low back and down. You don't got it for too long, maybe 2-3 seconds at the most. And now this one, and down, okay? And up, and down. So again, really good exercise, especially more aggressive when you're really trying to, somebody who's not a recent injury and they're just kind of keeping that core strength. That's a really good exercise. Okay, let's go ahead and get you come up.
Okay.
Sit-ups, I'll probably just do those myself because you're a little shorter than I am.
Okay.
If I fall, it's okay to laugh. I've fallen many times in my life. So on a sit-up, all we're going to do is keep the ball. I like to sit right in the front of it, not in the center of it, because then there won't be nothing behind me. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to open my legs out just to have that good base, so I'm hopefully not going anywhere. And I'll just kind of come back into it and back up. Okay, and the more you do this, obviously, the better you get at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sit-ups, again, really good for back exercises, but now you got to use all those full body core muscles to keep yourself from rolling around. Again, some people, we can't put them on the ball, so we would just have them do some flat baby crunches. And then the last one is doing a proper squat. And I love this one, that's why I left it till the end, because a lot of people don't know how to do a proper squat. I go to the gym all the time and see people doing like squats, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, you're gonna be a patient soon, we'll see you soon. My chiropractic friends are laughing right now, going like, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Okay, so what we're gonna do in a proper, let's do it, does the camera show that wall?
This wall,
Yeah.
probably. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, we can do it. Okay.
Kinda, yes.
Yeah, we can do it. 'Cause
So
we're
I'll
the ball. So
scoot.
what we'll do is go ahead. I'm gonna get you here.
Okay, am I on? Yes, you guys
There
can
you
see.
go. All right.
Okay,
Good. So feet shoulder width apart.
shoulder width apart.
Okay. And the idea in a proper squat is to go to parallel or below parallel for my CrossFitters. And there you go. And
Okay.
up and come back up. So we're gonna drop the ball just a little bit more down to your butt, just like that. Okay, good.
Okay.
Arms out in front of you. That
Okay.
way you know. Okay. And then what we want is this part, this trochanter, to meet with the knee right here. So come on down. Keep your chest up. Always chest up and back up.
Oh, I didn't know I was gonna do a workout,
Right?
guys.
That's what happens to you when you work out with me. All right. So yeah, those are excellent. And you do squats correctly. Patients come in. We do have patients. We do have them do these. Patients especially start to love them, and they're like, "What can I get one of these balls?" They're like, "I'm noticing some tone in my glutes and my legs." And I was like, hey, I'm glad that you got
It
a workout
works,
this size.
right?
You got function. And you're happy with some
Yeah.
results. Yeah, very good exercise. Doing proper squats is important.
So these exercises, I noticed that there are core focus.
Yes.
But those core focus also correlate with the back. So a
Absolutely.
good core makes a strong back.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's why when we have patients that have these injuries, we're gonna work the whole thing, because everything goes back to core. So it's not just, oh, I just got a neck pain. We still want to stabilize the mid, the low back. We want the entire erector spinae, that iliacostalis, longissimus, and spinalis muscle to really stretch out, and everything to become the brace, especially if there's disc injuries, where those muscles are going to become the strong point to make sure that at least that doesn't get any worse.
Awesome. So those were great exercises. I want to thank all of you guys that really commented and really wanted to know about your situation. If any of you guys want any other additional information, you guys have the comments or the contact section of Dr. Lou Ross here at the bottom. Now, Dr. Lou Ross, I want to ask you, if you want to leave our viewers with any closing comments or any fun quotes, what would you leave them with?
Everything just went to my mind. I don't think to say. First of all, juice. Those of you that know what that means, my former students, it was something that we did because we used to do a lot of motivational stuff with my students. So thank you guys for watching. Just listen to your bodies and take care of yourselves. That's my main thing with people is, take care of yourself. So many people ignore not listening to what's going on with them. And, just find a practitioner that works for you and make sure that you're eating right, getting your proper exercise, and that's as much as you can do. Live right.
I love that. So number one, listen to your body. Your
Listen to your
body
body.
will tell you
You
a
know
whole
something's
bunch.
wrong.
Yeah, they will tell you a whole bunch of stuff. You wake up with a certain type of injury, your body's not going to lie to you. So I love that comment. Also, if you guys want to be someone like Dr. Lou Ross, which is a guest on our show, the information is down below on how you have the opportunity to be a guest on Talk to Me Tuesday. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in on the show today. Tuning in, make sure you share that you like this show, because the more you share it, the more people can find out what Dr. Lou Ross had to say today. So I want to thank all of you guys for watching. I'm your host, Mari B. Till next time.